everybody, and welcome back to MonkieCast. I'm your host, AJ.
I'm Meso.
I'm Tenebrae Invictus.
I'm Leo.
I'm Sakota.
And I'm the Gundam Lady.
Woo!
Yay!
That was clean.
Was.
Sweet.
It's Monkin time.
It's
Monkey time! It's monkey time!
it's monkin' time. I love this. We're about to monk. Stand back.
Gosh.
So, last week we had JL on as a guest, but she has officially become a part of the MonkieCast crew. So,
That was fast.
Yeah.
Let's give her a round of applause.
yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
Thank you.
You're an Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, you're an Avenger.
Oh, excellent. How's everyone doing? How are we all feeling?
I'm
Alive.
alive.
Same.
I am filled with conflicting emotions and ready to talk about Monkey.
Why
Well,
is it conflicting?
Less about the quality of the special and more about the future.
Yeah.
Future.
Future. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna do plugs. So, do you want to support us? You can go over to Patreon and donate $1, and you can join our Discord server where you can, contribute into the Patreon chat. We'll just chat, we vibe about Lego and
Quality
Other stuff.
vibes.
yeah, it can be Monkey Kid, it can be Ninjago, it can be anything you want. There's also TTV message boards, more Lego discussions there. It exists. It's a thing. Go to it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
We also
around.
we also have a Twitter, which Meso, what's the
Twitter.com/TGV channel.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Very
Meso.
cool.
Thanks. That's where we give all our news updates about upcoming videos and podcasts. So go give us a follow, and yeah, that is just the plugs.
Yay.
I did this in the last episode, but I'm gonna reiterate again, just just in case. There is a way to watch Monkey Kid. You need a VPN, but you can watch it on the ITV hub. All you need to do is create an account. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. You just will, if you need VPN, you probably need just like a British postcode. But yeah, as soon as you sign up, you should be able to watch everything from the pilot up until the most recent special, which we're going to talk about today. So yeah, go do that. Yeah.
But AJ,
Yes.
how can people watch Monkey Kid if there's no more Monkey Kid to watch?
They just rewatch this, or they go watch the Hidden Side special because that's on ITV Hub.
Oh.
Which is
Whoa.
It's on there. Right.
If anybody
okay.
knows how to rip stuff off of ITV, we
Yeah.
would never encourage people to do that.
No.
But if
No
you
way.
happen to rhetorically know, we'd be
Yeah.
interested. There's no HD copy of Hidden Side.
Of Night of the Hob. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay.
yeah. Moving on.
Ugh. Okay. I guess I get into the episode recap, which is gonna be
Do it.
a long one.
Yay.
Embrace the
Take your
monkey.
time.
I will. Okay, let's see. What have I written down? So when we left off at the end of the season 3 finale, May had, what was it? She'd gained like the powers of the Samadhi fire, and she'd left. And MK and Neja chased after Wukong, who's going to confront Lady Bone Demon, and Tang, Sandy, and Pigsy were all gonna go find May. So, in the start of the special, you see Lady Bone Demon and the mayor, and Wukong appears, and about to fight. It's about to go down. They're chatting, catching up, all that fun stuff. We cut away briefly to see May and Red Sun training, just kind of in the middle of some forest area, she's trying her best and she's kind of getting there, but not really. Still struggling a lot. So the two of them are chatting, and Red Sun is explaining how to control the fire with like a type of meditation and just all that fun stuff. And we get to see them interact, and he kind of explains that a lot of the world has kind of been consumed by Lady Bone Demon, and his parents have been, caught in that. And just kind of encourages May when she's, feeling.
That didn't catch on the stream. That didn't catch on the stream. So now you're about to be gaslit into thinking you heard some
Nothing
sound.
happened.
I have no idea what that was. My sister
a
screaming about something, but
scream.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it could or could not have been my sister, but the audience will never know.
Sure, it could be anything.
All right, well,
What was
May
I?
was learning the epic skills.
Yes.
The epic skills. Encouraging, blah blah blah. We cut back to Wukong and then Ladybone Demon left fighting. It's a big old fight. They're just going at each other, full power. MK and Neja finally catch up, and they're watching the fight from afar. And Neja's like realized that Wukong was holding back on him when they were fighting, in the season. As
And
this
they're like,
fight
let's
is
just watch.
yeah.
He's moving too fast.
So yeah, they're fighting. Eventually Wukong is about to overpower her, and he ends up getting possessed because she's just too quick. And yeah, that's the first section of the special because this aired in like 4 episodes. Okay. So Wukong's now possessed. He kind of just hits Neja right in the face and kind of he's down now. Macaque saves MK, like kind of teleports him away, just like leave, be gone. And he ends up in the kind of same like area that May and Red Sun are, just like a little ways away from them, But he figures out where he is and he goes off looking for them. We cut to Tang, Pigsy, and Sandy. They're still back at like the mountain, just for whatever reason. They're still back there. They haven't left. They're about to leave, and then they just fall through the floor, just straight down. And they find a cool place that is just there. I don't actually know what it was. What was it? It was like a place. It was like a bunch of
Yeah.
something. There was no.
Oh crap!
But
Now that time I was muted on the stream feels bad. But yeah, they found a library that they don't explore. Just to reiterate for the people that didn't hear me a second ago.
So we see this area, and the writers kind of poke fun, and they start hinting at like how Tang and Pigsy and Sandy, how they their part in this story. We then cut back to Red Sun, May, and MK, who are all together now, and May kind of catches him up on things, and MK catches them up on things, but then Wukong appears, and he just punches Red Sun, and then MK tries to help, but then gets flung off the side of the like little building area, and he just takes May, and they go. Red Sun and MK, they're now panicking because Lady Bone Demon has both May and Wukong, so they rush to catch up with Tang and Pigsy and Sandy, and they're trying to figure out a plan, and then all of a sudden, Macaque appears with the mayor. Yeah. We then go on to get some Lady Bone Demon lore, get some of that epic lore that we've really needed for the past few seasons. We see her explain like her motives, how she wants to kind of wipe out the world because mortals are suffering, and it's better just to have like a clean slate. So Maya's explaining this to the gang as like that's what her motivation is. That's the whole reason she's doing what she's doing. We briefly cut and see that May is kind of trapped away and trying to keep her cool and meditate, like Red Sun was telling her, and just ignoring Lady Bone Demon, trying to get at her and give up her powers and stuff. So the whole gang, they're devising a plan. They're talking like how we're gonna defeat Lady Bone Demon, and they eventually come up with a plan of Macaque and MK will go to Lady Bone Demon, try and get the staff back. Just keep them busy while everyone else goes to try and save May. And then they enact this plan. Macaque and Wukong, they fight each other. MK tries to get the staff away from Lady Bone Demon, but he can't. And at this point, Macaque kind of gets defeated by Monkey King, and Monkey King goes to try and punch MK, but then he fights off the kind of possession that Lady Bone Demon has him in, and instead grabs his staff, and they retrieve it, and Lady Bone Demon then releases the kind of host girl that she talked back in season 1, and a big old battle starts happening, because she, instead of waiting around for May to kind of give her powers, she just takes it, just forces it. The rest of the gang, except Breadstone, they all go to help everyone else. They bring out the monkey mech and they start fighting Lady Bone Demon. The power of like friendship and magic and cool light show things, and just a lot of stuff. As all this is happening, Breadstone is like talking to May, is trying to snap her out of it and help her control the flame, and she does. And she ends up, becoming the flame and leaving, and the two of them join the side of MK and the rest of the crew, and they finally defeat Lady Bone Demon. We then see Lady Bone Demon and MK chatting, just in this white, empty void, and she's like, we're both the same, but this path that will only lead to pain. And then she just kind of dies.
Rip.
She's gone now.
No!
That Meso ceases existence after this.
I can't cope.
Not coping for you.
The big Sag. So then, it's kind of wrapping up things. The whole gang is vibing together. The just relaxing now that all that's over. Monkey King and Macaque, they're arguing as they do, and then Macaque just leaves. He's gone now. He's gonna go do other things, I guess. MK and Monkey King, they chat, and Monkey King apologizes, for lying to him and putting him in danger and all that stuff. And then we see this nice little montage of MK ordering noodles, It's like back in season 1, he's just, see everyone's happy, it's all good. It's all a good time. And then we see a little scroll at the end, just the very end. Don't know what it is, but that is the end of the special, and that is where season 3 kind of ends. It's over now.
See, that's what I can't cope with. Is it ending? Can't cope.
It's like I think of it as like an open ending.
It's
where,
an
like,
open
if the
ending.
show,
Yeah.
they can,
It's
like,
a good
continue.
open ending.
Yeah.
There's somebody on Twitter that's like counting the amount of days it's been since the specials left. Like,
Already?
Yeah, literally.
It's been like a week.
Yeah.
I know.
So, what does everyone think of this special?
God tier special. Very good. I don't know how to compare it to like the other special.
Yeah,
That's
'cause it's
probably a
bit.
discussion for another time, especially since it was broken up into 4 episodes.
Well,
But
I mean, like, we
I
can
overall
discuss
loved
it.
it.
We can discuss it because it is different. Like, the other two were like openings, and this one's an ending, right? So that
True.
already makes it like a bit different to the others.
I do think
that
the
makes
fact that it
sense.
was split up into parts, it does affect how I perceive it. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's in a positive or negative way, but like it does affect it because it's difficult for me to think about it in the same way as I do like Spider Queen or the pilot special. It feels very much just like more episodes to me. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know why that is. Maybe the fact that like large chunks of time pass like indeterminately, and the variables between the conversations are shifted, and like episode 3 opens up with a flashback. I don't know. It's not bad in any sorts. It's just interesting to think about. I think it was pretty based though.
Yeah.
I think like what's good about the finale being a special here, even though it's like 4 individual episodes, they kind of like they just assume you've seen the other ones, so they're like fully interconnected. There's no like little conclusion each episode, and I think that's probably the best way to do it because like in previous seasons the finales were rushed a lot of times, so doing the
Yeah.
special at the end is definitely preferable in my opinion.
Yeah.
That is true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I freaking loved it.
I enjoyed it as well.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good.
Very, very good.
I
I,
honestly
So
went into it
good, but-
expecting it to go a certain way, and some of the ways it did go I expected, but it told the story in a way that I didn't expect and wasn't sure how to process it first. Because I was like, whoa, this is like not what went on in my head, and not what went on like people speculating and all that sort of stuff. And I liked it. I think the way they executed the story and the finale was very well done. I feel like you
Swag.
could walk away taking you could take away from it that, you know, if you enjoyed the series as a whole, it was a very enjoyable ending, very fun to watch. And then if you enjoyed it to like a really, really intricate depth of knowing like all of the references they were making, which I don't, but I feel like, you know, anybody can take something away from it. If that
I
makes any
agree.
sense.
It does make sense. I
Yeah.
think that's a good
Like
point.
it's overall not bad. There's no, I don't see anything being like, oh, this is so bad. Why was this like a disaster of a finale? Unlike other finales of other shows.
Yeah.
But this
I
one
think
I felt
it's-
was well done.
I think it's the best finale so far, and it's the best special. So I think they did most things right.
yeah, it's definitely up there for me. I don't know if it's like the best thing ever out of Monkey Kid, but I would
Yeah,
have
but-
to rewatch stuff to make sure, since it's been like, you know, a year or two since I last watched like all the
That's
other
true.
stuff before it. But yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I think it could have been better if it didn't have to break for like intros and outros. Like if it was just like
Yeah.
40 minutes of nonstop, you know, story without like any like pacing breaks. But
Yeah.
no, overall I enjoyed it a lot, for sure. I think
I feel like I struggle to talk about it in totality. I feel like when I view it as just a special, my thoughts kind of blur a bit. So to get down into like the granular details, I'm just gonna like mentally skim through.
yeah.
No, the thing I want to start off first with is the concept of like Wukong just going to fight Lady Bone Demon, because I didn't expect that. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go fight her and almost win." I was like, "Wait, what?" I thought,
So,
like,
so this whole
I thought-
time,
and so this whole time, like, I thought the implication was that she was on such a vastly different like power level to him,
yeah.
and that she was so much better than him. But
Didn't he
clearly not.
Didn't he also fight her in the season 2 finale and like
Kind of. He like came in and defended MK and got
Yeah,
MK and
and
left. He didn't really
Yeah.
fight.
beat it
He
out.
just made an
he didn't
appearance,
really
kind
fight?
of. He
And
just
now
came
we
back from
know
fighting
why.
Nezha.
Yeah, now we backwards explained it was because he was already like tired, you know. But
Yeah.
it does beg the question, right? When he first realized she was back in the Spider Queen special, what if he just didn't leave? You know, what if he just like fought her while she was still weak. They probably could have
Yeah.
defeated her before season 2 even happened.
Before she had like the staff and stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. It's just kind of a weird thought because
Mhm.
the way I've approached this show, it was from the angle of the plot was necessary because she couldn't be beaten any other way, but she was like a hair's breadth away from dying, and I find that interesting.
I mean,
I-
well, like, because he did try to fight her in the season 2 special, and then she like disappeared. So maybe he just doesn't know where she is.
I'm sure that's true. It's just like we have the benefit of hindsight because we know
Yeah.
that if he stuck around, MK would have told him. But like, I guess he wouldn't have
Yeah.
known that at the time. So yeah,
What, like,
it's a wash.
because like, why would he stick around if he doesn't know and he knows that like he's running out of time? Because I read somewhere that like time in the celestial realm works really differently to on Earth. Like for Wukong, he was gone for like I think it was a couple hours, but to everyone else it was a few months.
In your stellar moment.
Yeah, like he really was like rushing around as quick as he could because of the time difference.
that little maneuver just cost me 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, if he knows he needs to go there and he knows it'll take a lot of time out of the other like mortal realm, then I don't think he's gonna be like waiting around, you know. He'll want to take the most of the time.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it could be also the difference between the Bone Demon herself and then also her mech. Because I mean, I'm trying to think of this in a way that makes sense because, he made this whole big deal about how he needs to get the Samadhi Fire, but
Yeah.
then it trivializes the usefulness of it if he's about to just go and beat her. Anyways, without it,
That's generally where I think I come away from feeling.
but I'm feeling
Yeah.
like the Samadhi Fire and friendship and all that stuff was needed to beat her when she was utilizing everything rather than just herself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a good point.
But it does feel
Good point.
flawed. No, I totally get that, and I'm definitely more on your side about
I
how.
don't even think necessarily that it's like a hard con.
Yeah.
It just feels kind of weird because it's not how I would have imagined the story to go. Like, and it might even be a compliment in a certain way if you look at it, because it's like it is subversion. It's non-traditional storytelling. It's like you have the MacGuffin, and then it's like, oh, JK, you don't really need the MacGuffin. Lol. Like, the villain almost uses the MacGuffin to destroy everything. Isn't that quirky? Like we in our quest to get this thing, we almost doom the world. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just struck a weird chord with me. But then of course you get into the angle of like, well, okay, even if he could beat her, that's still not necessarily a good outcome because he would have had to kill like the host,
Mm-hmm.
like the kid. And
That was a crazy moment.
But,
I like that they
She even
put that
threw
in
it.
there.
Yeah, she threw
He
it in his
literally
face.
was about to kill a child.
it
Just
was
straight up on
surprisingly
screen.
dark for Leo.
I loved
like,
it. I loved
yeah,
it.
our main like monkey man will totally like murder
Will
this child.
totally
his
Well, I also like they
plan-
added in the monk guy, I forget his name, Tang Sang Chung, saying or that he wasn't gonna kill the Lady Bone Demon and he instead gave her like, put her in a coffin and it was like, you need to think about your problems instead of letting Wukong literally kill her.
He put her in timeout.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I totally interrupted who was just talking. Go ahead.
But like, yeah, he like it could be because he didn't want to hurt the girl, but like the original plan of getting the Samadhi Fire and fighting her that way is like even more dangerous because it like could destroy reality.
Well, don't mistake me. Like I don't think it's necessarily because he didn't want to kill the girl. I think he would have done so no problem. I just think like it's the Lego narrative of like, well, why did the plot play out this way? And it's like, well, if they had committed to him just killing her, then the girl would have died,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have done that. They have to have the ending where everybody is safe.
I mean, there was a bit in the final episode of season 3 with where Tang says he did the thing because it felt like his destiny, and then he like Wukong hears like Lady Bone Demon, and I thought that was him realizing that like what he had done was just playing into the like thing she was expecting, I guess.
Highly likely.
Yeah,
That would
it's
make
just they
sense.
didn't convey it well just because of time reasons. But I that's
Yeah.
what I presumed because I always thought it was kind of a bit odd.
That does make sense. Overall, like that's really just kind of all I wanted to say. It was some weird notes, but on the whole, the entire subplot of Wukong fighting Lady Bone Demon, the fight was amazing. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The voice actors, I say this every episode, they popped off. God tier. Everybody. It was Wukong's best performance, and it was Lady Bone Demon. Well, maybe not her best. I feel like every episode is her best.
I hate you.
Sim.
She did good. She did a good job. That's what I'll say. And the whole arc of him getting possessed, you know, and him just being like this relentless force, eventually having to be overcome by, you know, literally just faith, basically. You know, like MK just being brave in the face of everything and just not wanting to fight him. I did think it was a slight degree of hokiness that he just
Hokiness?
yes,
Hokey.
What is that?
hokey corniness. You
Oh,
know,
Hokey.
she's like that. The solution to him getting possessed was he just isn't possessed anymore. Lol.
He's
Yeah.
But,
been
you
fighting him
know.
on the inside this whole time.
I mean, wasn't it like also they were weakening the mech so she couldn't keep a hold of him, and she had like
That's
the cracks in her
true.
face. So
That's true. You know, it does make sense. It's just
Yeah, they were straining her mental power.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
it's not a plot hole. It's just an interesting note. But overall, I liked the subplot. I think it was done pretty well, and it was some good stakes and emotional beats with him getting possessed.
I do also wish that they had done a bit more with like either Wukong's perspective on being possessed or more interaction between him and MK.
He was
That
barely
would have
in it
been
as a
good.
consequence of this subplot. You are
Yeah.
right.
I don't feel like it's a complete detraction or anything, but I would have liked to see more of it. Somebody did
Hmm.
point out somewhere I read though that if Wukong was able to escape Lady Bone Demon's possession after MK had that big speech to Lady Bone Demon about, you know, gonna free him and all that sort of stuff, that means he probably was conscious and was hearing everything the entire time. And I wish they build on that. And if they ever do something in season 4, maybe they could build more on like trauma and stuff.
We love
From
trauma. We love
being
trauma.
literally possessed.
Hopium.
Hopium. Drink
Yeah.
the hopium.
I thought that was a cool thought.
That is. No, I enjoy that thought very much. I would be completely down. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Can we talk about May and Red Sun?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
It's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like even if not, it's just like a good progression of like the characters from season 1 to now. Like, because you know it was they could have easily have just had them do something in like season 2 and then they never interact again. But it's nice that there's actually been progression throughout this like this kind of trilogy of seasons of their relationship.
Yeah.
As like
People like clued in that they had good like screen chemistry in the
Yeah.
Spider Queen special, and so they leaned in on it. I think my only complaint is I wish Red Sun had a role during season 2, but you know, what can you do?
I'm just glad they did something with it.
Their
Yeah.
interactions were gold.
I would say I do kind of mildly criticize this special because it's one that I think could have totally needed could have used like 20 more minutes to be even better than it was. I think a lot of stuff was just really short for the sake of time, and I think the training sequence, although it's good and I do like when he sits down and talks to her and you know they have like good interactions and stuff, I think it could have been longer.
It could have
Yeah.
been. It could have been longer because there wasn't really like he taught her one lesson. You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, consult the
That's
rest
it.
of my million lessons that I have in like my book or whatever, and then Wukong shows up and crystallizes her and takes her away. Like,
I recall it being a criticism of all things, Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
oh,
That
this
like
just had to come
they
up.
had, it hadn't come up always. That they had set up Rey to be trained by Luke, and then when it came time to it, Luke didn't really train her at all. And I kind of feel like vaguely similarly, just because it was a really cool premise. I wanted to see their interactions. They kind of skipped over most of them, but I liked the ones that were there. But that also just kind of makes me wish there were more.
Yeah, just it feels
Yeah.
like a snapshot when
That-
I wish we could get a little more than just a
I mean,
snapshot.
that's the issue with the episode lengths. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I feel like that's been an
Yeah.
issue prevalent with the whole show. It's just
It will always
things get
be.
cut
Yeah.
short. Yeah.
That's on the last podcast. I said like that my biggest fear would be that the training completely happens off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big part of it was off screen, but it wasn't completely, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still happened on screen.
It was the
Yeah.
it was a
What I
few
will
minutes
say-
of the first part of 4.
Mhm.
They did make very good use of the time they had.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like they
Mhm.
crammed a lot into those few minutes, and I think it's rare that you have such a long, pronounced scene in a Lego show where two characters just like have a conversation without like other stuff going on. Like maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of a time where it's been just like two characters just kind of hanging out for that long, doing the training and then having the conversation, and then like it was just a good scene. It was very well written. I like their dynamic. I do ship them. Fight me. I'll 1v1 you. It is definitely happening. Like it is there was definitely strong implications. And I vibe. They're cool. They're very cool. How do we feel about May's subplot as a whole?
I
'Cause
don't
I know there were some concerns
Yeah.
I was surprised.
by
They-
how
they
much
could
you
have
liked
done
it.
it.
Yeah, I was really worried they were gonna go the route of like just shelving her until she just a damsel in distress kind of stuff. But they really didn't do that. They I mean, I guess some people could argue they kind of did by crystallizing her, but they didn't, make her look like she was in oh, save me kind of thing. She had somebody come and encourage her, and then she just
Then she
blew
did
the
it.
floor with stuff. And one thing I noted was when she came out with the green dragon and the samadhi fire out with the monkey mech, that was like when Lady Bone Demon was basically like, "Oh shoot, I'm dead." Like she had that final just shock moment of, "Yeah, it's over." So I think they did good with May. I obviously could have
AJ?
feel like they would have done more, but I
Yeah.
was satisfied with what we got. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Mhm.
they spent so much of last season, like, kind of leading to this. It kind of disappoints me how they went about it. Like, I guess I wish she had kind of actually, like, had a fight with Lady Bone Demon, because as it stands, it's like, she just kind of ends up getting taken, and then Lady Bone Demon's like, I'm still your power, and it kind of happens, and then Red Sun's like, nah, don't let her do that. And she's like, oh, shoot, right, yeah, bye. And then she leaves, and then everyone's fighting her, and it's like, I guess it was supposed to be like she's the thing that tips, the final kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But, like, it would have been nice to see her, like, fight with Lady Bone Demon at least a little bit, because,
Yeah.
did the Samadhi Fire do a lot? She was already kind
Well-
of being destroyed.
Yeah.
Like-
No, it was a power
She-
struggle. It was an anime power struggle.
I mean, yeah, the biggest thing was that she just got stopped from, harnessing the power inside
Yeah.
the Bone Demon mech, and then sadly,
Yeah.
yep, it pretty much just boils down to the final fight. Like, as cool as it is, the final fight is just everybody, like, surrounding MK to help
Mhm.
out his mech to...
The power of
Yeah.
friendship.
Which, I
That-
mean,
that is nice.
it's cool, but it just yeah, there could have been more to it that
That
utilized.
ending was like, was it just me or was it barely explained what was going on? Like, was it a spirit bomb kind of scenario where like everyone sends their energy?
Kind
I have
of.
no
It
idea.
was very
Yeah,
hard to
kind of.
follow what
It's
exactly was happening because
I-
like DBK and Lady Iron Fan were there, and then like a line went up from them into the
Yeah.
sky, and I think that's what that was implying.
Yeah, more or
It
less.
was
Like,
It's friendship power.
yeah, friendship
Yeah.
or the common trope in a lot
I just like hand waved it. I didn't even care, man. I was just riding the anime
Yeah.
wave with that.
No,
Like,
it was the-
it's totally
like-
it's totally like, I don't know, like Gurren Lagann, Dragon Ball Z,
No,
whatever
like,
you want to
yeah.
throw in there. It totally was all of that.
100% it was. Spoilers for the movie Promare. I'll give
Yeah.
people 5
Promare
seconds.
moment.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, mute if you haven't seen Promare. That was just literally the Promare ending. It was basically the
So
same
epic.
thing. It was just like, oh, everybody link up, burn the world, but don't actually kill anyone. You know, like it was great, and I liked the Promare ending. So on that front, I have very few complaints.
Me too.
But it's very like thematic, you know, and I'll tie it back to that point in a little bit. But like, not so good on the technical details. But if you like the themes, and I like the themes, I think they're fun, then I was pretty satisfied. And on my opinion on May, like I think it was fine. Like, yeah, okay, I would have liked to have her do more. I also mentioned how I wanted MK to do more. I don't really feel like either of them got to do enough that I would have liked for them to do, but the fact that they both did do something and that they both did help to resolve the conflict, I think that's totally chill. I'm pretty okay.
On the May thing, I'm kind of a bit like sad that they brushed aside the bit of character development she had right before the special, where she was like basically
Mhm.
upset at Monkey King and very much
Yeah.
scared of her power. They didn't really do anything with that that happened off screen.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the time we had,
Mm-hmm.
I get why.
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about wanting like MK to feel the same in some aspects, I guess. Like kind of realize that Wukong isn't great, but it seems like they kind of just immediately were like, no,
He is
Um,
actually pretty cool though.
he
He's
is.
pretty
It's
cool if
just
he's not possessed.
it's difficult because like they obviously wanted to wrap stuff up as well, but it also means
Mhm.
that like if they're gonna continue with the show, the stuff that they could have done, if they decide to do it, it's gonna feel weird, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
They're
guess
they're
I
just gonna
just
joke
will-
it off.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring this up later, but I guess since you've like segued into it, I guess I may as well. So in the event the show continues, I legitimately don't know where they're gonna go with MK and Wukong as like characters, because okay, the whole premise was MK is his successor, Wukong is retired, so it was MK learning to be, you know, a hero. Then it was like, oh no, yeah, okay, you are my successor, but I'm still gonna train you. And then it went to, okay, well, you're my successor, and I'm still gonna train you, but now I'm gonna be like an active player. And it's basically just been like the whole arc really has been Wukong getting out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
That's really been the arc of the show. So
Yeah.
if it continues, and now they have, you know, what I would describe as churned and burned the plot line of the disillusionment, because this was the opportunity to do it. It was set up pretty well, and it was even directly addressed. Like Wukong was like, "Yeah, I'm a pretty bad mentor. I'm sorry," and he's like, "Yeah, but you're still cool. You're still a cool guy to me." Um, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think that was them addressing it and being like, "Yeah, that is true, but MK doesn't hold it against him because his heart was in the right place." And I'm like, "Cool." You know, I like their friendship, so I buy into that. But it does leave me in this weird place where I'm like, so what exactly is the arc, and what exactly is the progression of anyone?
Yeah.
Is it going to be about MK trying to become his own hero away from Wukong? Because the only way they could do that is by like benching him from the story. Sorry, Gio.
I hope not.
Yeah,
I'm biased though.
I know you are.
It definitely is like pretty much everyone that was bad, aside from Lady Bone Demon, is good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
it's true. Even
I mean,
Jin and
Spider-Man
Yin.
is
well, yeah,
Dead,
okay,
yeah.
dead, but everybody's kind of had like a critical reevaluation of who they are, and
Mhm.
basically they're all on the good guys' side now. So it's going to be interesting whatever's next.
Yeah. I don't know. How did we feel about Pigsy and Tang and Sandy?
Oh, you're gonna get me started on this. You know, it feels good to be right, but I wish they had explained it more, which is really disappointing. This whole time from the very beginning of MonkieCast, from the very first special, I've been on this reincarnation train. That they were the people from ancient legend, and all they do in the special is they fall into this library. They don't go anywhere in there. They go into this library and they see the statues of themselves, and they're like, "What if that's us?" And then Tang's like, "Well, I can't be that guy." But then he thinks about it and is like, "Okay, wait, maybe I am." And then that's it. That's literally it.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't Pigsy like a blue guy, a pig? He's like, and so even I don't think the statues were. Oh well, there was like a painting in the back though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like
They've
it was
seen
ending,
multiple
and
things
then
that could suggest it was them. It was just now when they got to those statues that they're like,
well, they didn't even they didn't even mention the thing from the previous episode when Wukong gets amnesia and is like
Yeah.
referencing them from the
yeah, in
past.
season 3, he like keeps
Yeah.
calling them that.
And that's
The ending narration kind of goes into it, where they talk about like old legends and what we can
Yeah.
learn from them.
mm-hmm.
So it's very much implied. I feel like it's on purpose. They don't want to confirm anything. So
Boo.
I don't know.
Just remember, it's not Sandy that's the reincarnation. It's Mo.
Oh my god. No. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I like that they addressed it somewhat. I don't really know like as much as I would like more lore on that. I don't really know what more lore would achieve from a narrative perspective. It's just like okay, they're you know I'm big into One Piece, and one of the big themes of One Piece is like inherited will, which is like the people who came before you, you know, the new generation carries on the torch after them, and like yeah, it's a thing. It's like
Dang.
if someone you love, you know, dies or whatever, and you carry on their dream, you know, you inherit their will basically. And it's like the new generation kind of like spiritually living up to the old, and like cosmic coincidences of fate causing them to look similar. You know, I get it. I don't really need more on it, although it would be cool.
No, I'm just saying it feels good to be right, but I wish I was I wish I was even more right than I am.
That makes sense.
would
I
feel
get
better.
Would feel better.
Can we talk about Macaque?
Yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah, talking about Macaque.
Macaque
I want to
discussion is
talk
banned.
about Macaque. I was so happy with Macaque in this special.
Talk
They
about
did
it.
him so well, in my opinion. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I liked him going from I'm just doing my own thing to saving MK, which was awesome. And I didn't notice that he was in the background of some of those scenes as a bird, which was like really cool.
Yeah.
And then going into just being tied up.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah, that was
Sorry,
funny.
Mr. McQuack.
McQuack.
McQuack. I liked that MK used his self-doubt against him and was like, okay, and he's like, I'm not a hero, and MK was like, okay, then be a warrior. I really liked that because it was a nice callback to the episode where he was doing a shadow puppet play for who knows why. But I really liked Macaque.
Troll.
Macaque did great.
I will agree. I think he has now joined Red Sun for having like one of the better narrative arcs in the show. And in fact, I will make a bold claim, and I'll say that Macaque has the best character progression in the show.
think I have to agree with that. Maybe I
Alright.
don't know, but I'm also
So-
biased because it's a monkey.
Simp.
I say it because he's had multiple, like he had 2 episodes of fleshing him out as a character, completely dedicated to like him and his thoughts and his lore or whatever. So you got to see like his bitterness, you got to see his jealousy, you got to hear about like the past or whatever.
How he won't go to therapy because they'd
Basically.
be there all day.
Basically, and then you have him get the main focus where he doubles down and is like the main villain for the season, but not by choice because of self-preservation. And you see those cracks kind of in the season where he starts to become like more and more disillusioned with what's going on, and he wants to get out but he just doesn't want to die. And so then it makes sense that like this would happen in the way that it did. It doesn't feel out of nowhere, it doesn't feel contrived. It also doesn't undo his previous feelings. Like him and Wukong still definitely do not get along, but like when push came to shove, like he did the right thing. And I don't know, I can't think of another character in the show that has that much fleshing out. Like May would be the closest, but I don't think they delivered on her arc all that well at the end. Red Sun has had a good change, but it's changed by degrees. Red Sun hasn't had the amount of focus. He hasn't had the amount of introspection. His working with the good guys was mainly like out of comedy more than anything else. And then he just kind of became acclimated to like begrudging ally. Like, you can't really draw a direct line from when Red Sun went from one of the main villains to like a good guy. It just kind of happened naturally.
That's when he picked up May's plushie.
Well, yeah, but yeah. And those are really the only 2 who I think would give Macaque a run for his money, unless I'm wrong. Does anyone disagree?
I mean,
No,
I would just
agree.
say those 2 are definitely like more in the not really villains, we're just misunderstood box.
True. True. That's fair. Basically, that's all just to say I like Macaque. I think he was done well. I'm glad they went in that direction with him.
That was way more coherently explained than my own thoughts, which was just awesome monkey.
Indeed, you're very eloquent, Gio. Thanks.
So eloquent. I liked the visual parallels in that fight where Wukong and Macaque engaged each other. Looking at some of the episode where I think it was the first Macaque episode where Macaque punched Wukong and they went backwards, just flying.
Yeah, there's so much.
This one had visual parallels, and I really, really, really liked that.
The show does a lot of like parallel stuff. Like I think someone pointed out that the end shot of I think it's MK looking back at all of his friends, and the special like mimics that of when we see the flashback of Wukong and the Samadhi fire, and he's looking back at his friends.
That's so
Aw,
sick.
I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the fight between Wukong and Macaque was also really well done, and I was very, very pleased that they brought back Macaque's mech again,
Yes.
as well as the monkey
Yeah.
mech. I was so happy.
It starts and ends with the monkey mech.
Yes.
I love me some parallelism. It's the quickest way into my heart. I would like to talk about something.
Oh
Yes.
no, what is it?
I'll talk about 3 letters. LBD.
Oh boy.
The
'cause
backstory.
We finally got a crumb of characterization. Because, like, as much as I've enjoyed her up until now, she's very much just been, haha, I am evil. But
Yeah.
now, like, in the 11th hour, literally in the last episode, we finally get her motivations. Oh, it was 2 episodes. That being a pretty relatable one. She's incredibly disappointed by the state of mankind
Well,
and how awful people can actually be, and just kind of wishes things could have a fresh start. And you know what? It's a big fat mood. Maybe except for the global, genocide bit. But,
Global and celestial genocide.
spiritually, I get the vibe. Humanity sucks.
Yeah.
People are the worst sometimes. and I think that's very interesting to have such a ominous, spooky, creepy villain have just kind of like a normal, like basic nihilism, towards the state of people. It's an interesting thing for Lego to tackle in a very Lego way, of course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I still like
Yeah.
it. I like
I
that they
think
tackled
it's I think it's a great motivation for like an all-powerful villain, I guess. But I
Mhm.
feel like they just should have introduced it way sooner.
Yeah,
I
that's
They could have done so much with like that motivation,
yeah.
but didn't
I
really.
agree
They
wholeheartedly.
yeah, usually that type of motivation I've seen it like once or twice before, and yeah, if they introduced it earlier, I think it would have worked much more instead of it being, was it the last minute of her being around?
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because like it's not necessarily that I need the time for them to flesh out the motivation.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of got it, in the few scenes they talk about it.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
more the fact that it affects how her dialogue is written, because once she reveals her actual motivation, suddenly the way she talks changes and she starts going like, oh, clean slate this,
Yeah.
fresh start this, and I'm like, well, you didn't talk at all like this before.
Yeah, she was
Um,
just kind of like generic kind of scheming throughout the entire time she's
yeah,
on screen up until that point.
so it affects her characterization, and it also makes you wonder what was her plan before the Samadhi fire got introduced. Did she always want to get it, or was she just gonna crystallize everybody?
I don't. Did she know about the fourth ring? Because like if
Probably
not, the plan could have been like just to get it herself.
Maybe.
But
wasn't she imprisoned before the fourth ring? Oh no, they used the fire first. No, because Red Sun was born, and then that was what made the fire. I don't think she would have known at all, right?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think so. Then again, maybe.
I think she probably knew what it was, maybe.
Yeah.
well, she knew it existed, but like it
It's a
doesn't really.
difficult thing to answer chronologically. She
Yeah,
did
timeline
seem to
doesn't.
have some foundational knowledge of it. She wasn't
Hmm.
surprised that it
Yeah,
existed.
they were gonna use it to destroy her. Yeah.
Now, here's what I will say. I do think they should have introduced it earlier, but like I said, I'm glad they did. I think it elevated her. She was
Hmm.
already one of like the spookiest Lego villains, like of all time, and now she has like a cool character motivation to boot, and that like ending scene of her and MK, where she's just like, "Yeah, I know the score. I know I'm gonna die, but like, have fun. All this is gonna lead you to is more pain." I was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god, that's
the
like
the
a
Hmm.
the
cryptic
whole
tease."
the whole debate about like existence and people sucking and how they cause your life to be miserable, but you know what, you're going to pursue through it anyways because friendship and the people that are
Mhm.
specifically directly around you and stuff like that. I Obviously this kind of like conflict has been played up in tons of stories, whatever, but for
Yeah.
specifically Monkey Kid and its type of animation and how the banter kind of went back and forth, I would say, like, obviously, most of you guys, if not, I wouldn't say all, but I would say definitely most of you guys haven't seen Evangelion, but I feel like the specific kind of banter that played back and forth was very reminiscent of that, but in like a very bite-sized Lego. This is
Yeah.
actually for kids trying to like grasp these concepts, like
I
when they
think
get
it's
older,
cool
kind of
that it
thing.
exists in that manner.
Hmm.
Because I don't expect, I think we talk a lot about like Lego story themes, and I have some thoughts in general I want to share on them in a bit, but like, more about just like what we want from them as far as like being an older fan watching these shows. Like we spend hours talking about Ninjago, and I'm like, well, I kind of have to admit at the end of the day, like Ninjago isn't gonna like permanently kill many like characters. It's just not gonna happen. So I'm like, at the end, I sometimes wonder like, well, what am I looking for when I watch kids programming? And I think Monkey Kid kind of is an example of the kind of stuff I look for. It's a show made for kids, understandable and digestible for kids with deeper themes that have applicability beyond just kids programming. It's kind of something that can be elevated because yes, it exists in a very bite-sized form here, but it's still an interesting thing to think about past that, and that's cool.
No, it's definitely good because I just to muse back on like Evangelion. It's known for being like super depressing and disturbing, and don't watch unless you're like in the right mind space, like headspace for it. But like it originally aired on like Japan's like on like a child time slot, like kids time slot, and eventually got dark enough that they're like, yeah, let's move that back to like adult time because like adults are starting to pick up on enjoying this show.
Nice.
But the director was like, no, I want to continue teaching. You know, I want these episodes to have a message for the kids. Like they need to know about the harsh realities of life and all that stuff. Like it's like complete abstract existentialism by the end of it. But you know, even if he aimed it at kids, it definitely isn't delivered in a way that kids would get it. So with like Monkey Kid, I think this is definitely like you said, a digestible format that people could actually enjoy, you know, like starting to contemplate those kinds of ideas.
I don't think it's important if you aim upwards. I feel like that's where kids shows really shine. It's when you aim downwards that it only works one way at that point. It doesn't work both.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Monkey Kid deserves props for that. They could have very easily not done it, and as much as I like the aesthetics and the vibe, LBD wouldn't have been as interesting. And I would, and a really good way to kind of showcase it was in the flashback scene because she's talking about it to whatever, like the Emperor guy, the Jade Emperor, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. Was it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who
I
that
don't
was.
think it was. I don't think it was the Jade Emperor.
Some guy. She was
Haver?
extolling her philosophy too, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, incredibly disappointing. So this is what I'm gonna do because people suck." Thoughts, and he was like, "I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you money. I'll give you yes. Please don't kill me." Just like a sniveling piece of garbage, like coward who only cares about himself. And she was just like, "Yeah," like you can almost see the disappointment on her face.
She's like, nah.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Exhibit A.
Even telling you this, Sag, and very well done. I like it.
Mhm.
And she was also just really freaking cool, and she had a lot of really good action and voice acting performance, and we got to see her actual form as she like levitated majestically down to rain doom upon the hellscape of the world. And I was like, okay, I'm vibing. I like this. This is neat.
I adored her fight with Wukong.
It
That
was
was
really
probably one of my
good.
favorite
Yeah.
scenes in the entire special. Was literally the opening of their interaction together.
Oh.
And the mayor.
I loved it.
I just
The
like
mayor.
they gave the voice actor of Goku an animated fight that looked like it was straight out of Dragon Ball Z.
I just
Love
very
it.
quickly looked at the Monkey Kid wiki to see if I could find out who the guy is. It's not the Jade Emperor. It just says an Emperor. So
Yeah.
Just someone in society.
Just some emperor.
Some
just
random
an
person.
Emperor. But I don't think it's Jade Emperor. It's just an Emperor within.
All right.
Random emperor number 1.
Could be wrong on that. If anyone knows, then just leave us a comment or just say in the chat or whatever. But that's all I've found.
Much respect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about before like big picture stuff. Anybody else have any like things to comment on?
I still love the stupid monkey.
I really like the that was really loud. The little wrap up of MK delivering food.
Yes! Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Wait, that's great.
Return to normalcy.
Yeah. A lot of my favorite shows tend to end with sort of looking back to how things started, or at least seeing where everybody's at before, wrapping up.
That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice. two in specific, I guess I can. Well, one in specific is Hunter x Hunter makes me happy when it ends like that. That
Yeah.
still makes me tear up. This one reminded me of it because we get to see everybody one more time. I think it was great.
I agree.
And the open-endedness of the scroll opening up and just showing up.
What is that scroll? Do people have any ideas?
No. I've tried looking in like the community, and there's like theories.
I mean, but like the
but I
scroll
don't know.
is being like it unfolds as Tang is narrating it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then it just like the scroll animation's over when he gives it the open ending. I think it. I mean, like the whole time he's been talking about how he's chronicling their
Yeah.
adventures. I feel like it's related to that, if not the actual tale like of them.
Yeah. How does anybody know how Journey to the West ends?
No.
No. Okay.
Time to look up spoilers.
So I mean, I don't know how long it is or anything. I mean,
I've
it
heard
could
it's
just be
really
like,
long.
It is long,
Yeah.
I know that. But it could just be like the scroll representing, instead of it following, whatever the story actually goes, it might just be a new, fresh take.
Yeah, or I mean, like I think it's implying that the story can continue from there. Like it's not just a.
It's that too.
It's not done being written.
So you don't think it's anything specific about the scroll being a plot relevant thing, so
No.
much as it's thematic about like a story being open.
Yeah, it's like it can still keep going from here. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do. I hope we find out soon.
We got a super chat from Kero Kamina X for $10. Thank you so much. Say, repeat what I said before. Could argue rewriting the history of the world ties into LBD's nihilism. Flying Bark wears their Studio Gynax / trigger influence on their sleeve, and thank God that they do. Also, please read. Eva originally had more hopeful message at the end, but due to death threats plus stress plus Adam's mental state at the time, that changed.
It's a grim setting, but it's not. It is a hopeful message either way. Whether like you watch the movie or the show, like it's about like, yeah, humanity sucks, but I still want to be here. Like it's still hopeful that you can enjoy life even with like lots of obstacles in your way. That being said, I don't know if that specifically ties into Flying Bark's love of, the action mecha anime and stuff like that, because I don't know how tied in the story writer is with the animation studio, but
yeah,
it's a very fair point.
Man, now I need to watch Eva.
Yes.
Again, watch all of it. I know
Yes.
exactly what I'm doing when I'm moving.
Man.
I'm really glad that you brought up the ending, because the ending also totally made me cry. Thanks, Leo. That was great. It was so heartwarming and it was nice. And my favorite part was Macaque receiving noodles.
I liked that the no longer Lady Bone Demon Kid was there in the shop.
That too. Oh my goodness.
Random memes about like Macaque adopting her.
I love
Yeah,
it. It's so cute.
I love it so much. I see so much out of it, and it just
Me too.
I love it.
I haven't
It's so
seen anything.
sweet. Gotta get on Monkey Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Monkey Twitter, where the shipping is rampant.
You can you can send some art to me. I don't think I'm gonna be doing any community digging.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
All
right.
I would like. Well, no, what, AJ? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna move on, but if you have something to say before we do.
What were you gonna move on to? Because it might be
like, I don't know, theories for future stuff.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
that ties in.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are the theories for the future of Monkie Kid? Whoa.
Do you have any theories?
No.
What?
Well, I don't know, because
maybe hopes. There's hopes and theories.
What is it that we already know? Like, we know the theme continues, right? We know they have new writers.
I believe, from what I've seen, I haven't seen any confirmation. This is just what I've heard from other people in the community. Is that we should have a season 4 and 5 is what I've heard.
Oh, season
Is-
5?
Yeah, maybe.
Same studio,
like,
or is it
it's not-
new studio?
No idea. No
So,
idea. Literally, all I know is from what I've heard from other people in the community. I don't know anyone who's worked on the show. There've been talks of there being a season 4 and 5, but I don't know where they got that information from.
Yeah,
We
so
also
Yeah, I
know-
keep
even-
googling it occasionally, and I still can't
I
find
think we
anything
got-
about anything.
Yeah, so
I
nothing
think we
confirmed.
got confirmed that
Oh.
the sets will continue next year. So
Yeah.
the theme definitely will keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do the thing where they release the sets first, and then we get some plot hints, and then we get the season. And we'll be able to
Yeah.
make predictions about it then.
Yeah.
I have
Mm.
no theories or predictions.
Yeah.
Hashtag
feel like
Monkey Mech number 3.
It's kind of difficult to like predict. I feel when we as a group don't know enough about Journey to the West, because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff they could do, but we don't know any of it.
Yeah.
That's our
So,
in-between season homework, is to go and look at Journey of the West.
go read all of Journey to the West.
The next season is gonna be an alien comes from outer space and tells Wukong that he's actually not a monkey, but he's actually part of an intergalactic race that got wiped out by an evil overlord. And they're gonna have to go and find these magical spheres that can grant wishes.
They could,
Monkey balls.
in the next few seasons they could in the upcoming seasons they could give us I guess some MK kind of lore, because we know that like he just goes by MK, and also like what happened to his family and stuff, because
Yeah.
he's living with like Pigsy and things, right?
That's
That's
kind
the-
of my point, and like it's kind of what I want to talk about. Is like, okay, I really liked Monkey Kid so far. I really did, and I want to extol why I do.
Yay!
But like, just to make that clear, I really like it. That being said, if for the next seasons, I want it to be basically completely different than what it's been. I don't want to see it again. I want to see backstory. I
Yeah.
want to see lore. I want to see character arcs. I want to see, I want to see relevancy for Pigsy and Sandy.
Please.
I want to see big Sandy focus. I want to see minimal Wukong. Sorry, GL.
No! You can't say something like that! That's horrible! Excuse you!
We're gonna get hour-long psychological drama episodes now. But...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
MK is gonna be grappling with the last words that he was left by the Lady Bone Demon and questioning existence and
Yes.
the strength of his friendships.
Existentialism kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna have
that's
existentialism over your comment.
that's
There's
basically the point, right? Like I like what we have had for 3 seasons and 3 specials, but if I get it for a 4th season and a 4th special, I'm probably not going to like it anymore. That's I guess the best way I can put it.
Trage.
the bit where MK and Wukong kind of open up to each other a little, and MK's like, I just like playing dumb to lighten up the mood and all
That
that.
was good.
I really hope they don't go back on that, and then he just keeps playing dumb because it kind of got annoying.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
I don't think I can do another season of the same thing. It's like, all right, this was a decent, like, it was a fine bit for 3 seasons.
you
Please
need
don't.
to lean into the character dynamics and have them change.
Mm-hmm.
If May and Red Sun, if they're not just like baiting, if they're like
Yeah.
actually going to be a thing, like have Red Sun join the main crew, have him interact with them on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be funny. Think of all the different dynamics. They could do like Red Sun and Tang and Red Sun and Pigsy, have MK change his character a little bit after all this. Stop, playing dumb, become a bit more, serious.
Mhm.
Wukong takes back seat, so he has to be more independent. It's like May has this like inner darkness in her that maybe comes out occasionally with the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Get some of that sweet Sandy lore. There's
Please.
things they could do. All the puzzle pieces are there. I just don't know if their priorities or the format that the show takes will allow them to take full advantage of it.
It depends also on the writers and what story they want to tell, and also whatever executives want to retain viewer attention, because they might be like, oh, we need more comedy, or else people won't watch, or we need this and that, or I don't know. It's tough to see or even know what's gonna happen after this, and I really just kind of hope.
It is very tough to say,
Hmm.
but that's kind of where I land. I hope that makes sense from that perspective. I think it's fine so far. I think they've tackled interesting themes and stuff. But I just feel if they keep doing it, it's going to get to a point where it's going to get repetitive. I was already getting to that point with like MK and everybody, so I'm just like, if they keep doing it, my opinion's going down. It looks like we've lost AJ, and we might lose you, Leo.
Yeah, I don't know. If you
I
hear it,
did
but, like,
hear it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's getting progressively worse. The rain was even hitting my windows.
We've
One by one, we go down.
Yep. AJ says to keep the podcast going, but because it usually takes a while to get it back when the internet
boy.
goes out. So
that's fair. Maybe we should wind down then.
we
Yeah.
should probably.
My closing comments were basically just like Monkey Kid as a whole. I want to just kind of talk about it so far. Suffice to say, we all.
Leo just
And you're crashing in
mute.
the distance.
Yeah,
Leo.
I'm sorry. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Now.
Like suffice
It's
to say,
the
so far
waiting
we
game.
all pretty much enjoy Monkey Kid. We all love it, right? It's a good
Yeah.
show.
Good
How
show.
good is it on your personal ratings, comparing it to its contemporaries? Which I really don't like to do often, but I think now that we have it in kind of a full picture, I would actually like to talk about it in reference to like Ninjago and Bionicle.
Yeah.
Boo.
I think that's an
Bruh.
I'm not-
interesting combo to explore. I know you
Okay.
have some thoughts, Gio.
I do. I definitely want to iterate that again with my bias. I do love Monkey Kid a lot. Monkey Kid became my like second favorite show. The first one being Voltron. But so I ranked Monkey Kid pretty high. I enjoyed it for what it was. I took a lot out of it, and it's a feel good show. It's really fun to watch. I loved all the characters. I loved the animation. I loved pretty much everything about it. Comparing it to something like Ninjago is a sin in my books. I grew up with Ninjago. I loved it growing up. It was great for what it was when I was younger and watching it, and there are parts of it that I still do enjoy now. But I don't like comparing it to the two because they're just different. They're so different from each other. And you're probably going to get more into your points on it, but I really liked a conversation we had earlier where you were talking about how Ninjago's characters are, plot is relatively simple and characters don't really develop as much, and that I will agree with. I feel like Monkey Kid's characters were a little, as much as there was more development to be had, you felt more from them. You felt like they were learning things. You felt like they were feeling emotion and having a bit of character progression, and they could have always used more, but I feel like that had more of an impact on me than Ninjago did. I also felt that this show is mildly more intense than Ninjago in terms of its action and emotional impact. And I can evidence this with my mom trying to show Monkey Kid to a group of kids between the age of 6 and 9, and they couldn't handle the trailer and instead watched Ninjago because it's more kid friendly. So I appreciate that this show shoots high, as you put it earlier. It aims high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my headspace is at. Also, I just really like the monkeys. I thought they were great, and I love them, and they're awesome. And I want to see more of them. Sorry, Meso.
The reason I bring it up in that context is because like you see it all the time. It's like Monkey Kid versus not Bionicle. Monkey Kid versus Ninjago is kind of like the meme. But even more than that, it's just like, well, where does Monkey Kid rank in like the pantheon of story themes? Because unequivocally, it's like the most well produced.
Yeah.
It has the highest, production value. It has the highest sense of style, except maybe Lego movies. Not maybe, except for Lego movies.
Yeah.
But taken as a whole, taken in aggregate, what does that actually mean? I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but I've thought about it some more since. The whole like thematic versus technical thing. That again, I can't take credit for as a YouTuber. I watched like the best guy ever. He came up with that. But I'm like applying it to Lego themes, and it's an interesting principle. The whole concept of, some stories rely very heavily on technical details and lore and rules, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, cause and effect. Some stories rely very heavily on themes, character motivations, clashing of ideals, stuff happening because of like representation or being representative of a bigger ideal or an allegory or something like that, even if it doesn't make sense logically, or they skimp over the logical details for things. And I think if you chart the Lego themes that exist, like the big three story themes, I think it forms like an interesting V shape, because on one polar end of the spectrum you have Bionicle, which is the most technical thing to exist, at least out of Lego. It has like a billion characters and rules and regulations and lore and canon and villages and a treasure trove of Greg quotes you could pull from for the most microscopic of things. Then you have Ninjago, which I feel like sits very firmly in the middle, because you have lore, you have characterization, and you have things of that nature. But then you also do have a lot of stuff that's like, power of friendship vibes, things about like the tornado of creation, true potentials, etc., things that are kind of shaky in terms of the technicals, but it's about what they represent, and it kind of gets by on that. Then you have Monkie Kid, which is full theme. They basically don't have details for things, at least not present in the show, because they expect you to, get that stuff from Journey to the West, kind of, if you want to have some kind of foundational backing for the lore. A lot of the rules about how things happen, they don't really explain. A lot of the show's creations, like the monkey mech and stuff, doesn't really get much technical explanation. It's
Wukong just building a rocket out of nowhere.
Yeah, stuff just kind of happens in Monkie Kid. And the thing about all this flow chart kind of thing is I don't think any kind of storytelling is bad. I think that all of it is good. My ideal story does have both. It's why I've gravitated a lot towards Ninjago. But you can do either and still have a wonderful story. And the thing I find about Ninjago that it suffers from is it kind of has trouble balancing both. It can't satisfy the technical side fully because the lore is kind of a mess and stuff constantly gets retconned and changed. And it can't satisfy the thematic side either because the characters have kind of stopped having satisfying arcs, at least mostly, or growing or accomplishing anything. I feel like Monkie Kid, it does very well in its thematic storytelling because it's able to elevate it so highly, as little as it is, because there's only a few characters that have really had quality arcs. But I don't know what it is. It might be just my bias towards 2D animation. I don't know, but I feel like the storytelling format and the way it's presented, those themes can be elevated to like a higher kind of vantage point. And I don't know. I really like that. That's why I'm really encouraging them. For me, my ideal vision of the future, go into that. Go into the characters. Lean into it. Lean into the themes. Lean into the character interactions. That's what they're best with. When it's done well, it's done very, very well. That's its identity. I feel it's been established to have so far. Just do it more and go more in depth with those characters, and I think we'll be golden. On any other show, I would critique the heck out of that plot that we watched in that special. But I find I don't really care about it because it was presented well, and I get the message of what they were trying to do. That's just kind of my spiel. The answer of like which is better doesn't really have a clear answer, but I think it's interesting to look at what all the themes do really well, and just kind of.
I really appreciate that analysis.
Yeah,
it's very well thought out.
Because it's impossible to compare in any other way, Bionicle was a theme that mostly consisted of books.
Yeah.
Ninjago lasted for 13 years. It's apples to oranges to bananas.
It's also
Or peaches.
hard. It's hard to compare as well because of how long they've been around.
Mhm.
You know, like you said, 10 years, 13 years, and this has been around what,
Yeah.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
Can't, you
It's
can't
11
really
years, right? Ninjago.
Yeah,
yeah, you're
about.
right.
about okay. I don't. Why'd you say 13, Messa?
I don't know. My math is off.
I mean,
Ninjago feels
okay.
longer than it is,
Technically, I guess Bionicle was what, if you count G2,
which we
13,
don't.
12 years ago.
On the
Yeah,
land.
so it was the same, right? I don't know. Uh, you know, it's hard to compare, as like you said, it's two very different things, and I don't think it's fair to compare them.
No.
All
They
three
need
themes
to.
are very different in how they were being told.
They
Bionicle
need
has,
to. Monkey Kid needs to lean into what separates it.
yeah,
I'll also have to want to reiterate what I said last time. I
Mhm.
think it's not fair to compare like the 3 seasons of Monkey Kid to all of Ninjago.
yeah,
If you compare it to season 1 to 3, like where Ninjago originally ended, quote unquote, all the characters have very clear arcs. There isn't any
Mhm.
sidetracking. There isn't anything like that.
That's
so
true.
it's still possible that Monkey Kid will run into the same problems.
Mhm.
And I feel like in general, a lot of the main characters in Monkey Kid don't have arcs like the Ninjago characters had in those first 3 seasons. Like, for example, Pigsy or Sandy.
How
So-
long were the episodes in the first 3 seasons of Ninjago? Were they?
They're
22
22 minutes each.
It was the pilot and then
Okay.
20-minute episodes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you can't even. I personally don't think it'd be fair to even compare that then, because of how short these episodes are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I'm recognizing, like, with what they have had to work with, they've done very well, and they've been able to elevate what they have to such a high degree by coasting off sheer production values.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I'm very paranoid about a studio change.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a studio change because if the studio changes, the writing is really gonna have to like
Wow.
shake up in order to carry that
Mhm.
out. In a perfect world, we would have a slightly better story that leans into the characters, which are already the most interesting thing, and then keeps the production values. And
Ideal.
at that
Yeah.
point, we'll be golden, and I think it'll be a bright future.
We'll just have to see.
AJ, you back with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You
You
missed.
just missed my thematic technical spiel.
Yeah, it's basically I already thought like the same thing as you, just in like less descriptive terms.
Yeah.
Like Monkey Kid is very effective at delivering a quick, like flashy show with a little message attached to it. And that's basically pretty much all it's been given, you know, like it has a short time frame to do so much, and I think sacrifices were made, but at the same time I think it got the job done just fine and
Yeah.
in a very enjoyable way. Like yeah, it can't be everything. It can't be everything, but
Yeah.
what it did end up being is still like probably a more superior product in a shorter amount of time than
'Cause, I mean, you look at
Yeah.
Ninjago, like I said, and I mean, like, yeah, not to diss a Ninjago because Dakota made very good points, but like Ninjago does have both, and they have all the runtime in the world, and even it has issues.
yeah.
The
Well,
lore constantly gets changed, and the characters are on loop because of its longevity. So, like the answer of more runtime doesn't necessarily always guarantee a better product.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's about making the best product you can within your constraints.
So, I mean, the thing that I was thinking of though is that like when you talk about lore and what makes Ninjago good, it's this long buildup of things that have happened over time. Because I will always say, like, every time I try to watch like the first 3 seasons of Ninjago, I'm just like so freaking bored. But it's still like important details that still get used later on in those. Like it sucks, like because I basically skipped season 2. That season 2 just keeps coming back up throughout all of Ninjago, and it's so like it kind of grates on me that it gets referenced that much, because like I just do, like, yeah, I get really bored by it. But I mean that's like Ninjago took strides to get to where I think was enjoyable for me, and I think what makes it appreciable, or like appreciated now outside of nostalgia, is more like modern. Like it's definitely past the first few years of Ninjago that oh dude, I lost my sentence. But basically Ninjago took some years to get to why it's so enjoyed now, built on like tons of stuff. Monkey Kid does not require needing to know Journey to the West to like be hooked on it instantly. Like that's not
Point. I haven't read it at all.
in a short amount of time. You just get to enjoy the characters for what they are. Yeah, okay, it kind of sucks that some of them are a bit static, but I think we're given very like strong caricatures, at least, that we can, for super short episodes, like be in that world and get a kick out of it, and still get like a very easy to observe lesson from what happened.
I like that analysis as well. That's really good.
I also think something that should not be underestimated with Monkey Kid is the humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like the best Lego show humor wise, and I think
with the 2D animation,
like hurts character development or the plot, but it's an intrinsic part of the show, and I think it makes it great. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's a very good combination of both like verbal and physical, like or like visual comedy.
It's very well done. Something to sacrifice the characters, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
I think we're about at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my hope. If it's gonna continue, I don't want to get to the point where I feel the same way about Monkey Kid as I do about current Ninjago. Like, please do something with the characters. That's all I ask.
Which I mean, like, if it goes to crap, at least we can be like, well, at least Flying Bark Studios left wrapped a nice bow around their 3 seasons, and we can always like look back on the first 3
seasons. G2 Bionicle.
Yeah, we can always look back at the first 3 seasons fondly.
You're so right. That's basically it. AJ, do you have any closing thoughts?
About like the future, or just in general?
In general, future, the special, just before we wrap up.
I'm excited about the future, but I'm also nervous, obviously, because we don't really know what's happening. And like, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't, lose something with the new showrunner. I'm sure they'll do great, and they'll make it their own in some way, but I hope it's not like everything takes like a dip, like it.
No fire chapter.
Can't
have a fire chapter with Monkey Kid. I will die.
We did a fire chapter, the Samadhi fire chapter.
But yeah, I mean, enjoyed the special. I enjoyed this kind of trilogy of seasons, and I'm excited for what comes next, and I can only hope that it's good things. And
Yay!
Is that
needs more monkey?
Monkey
need more monkeys.
Needs less monkeys.
No.
I will say though, like, just a disclaimer, as much as I love Monkey Kid, like the specials were all like totally solid. I'd give like an 8 out of 10 or more, but it still, in its own short amount of time, had to take its own strides to improve. Like, I think season 1 I'd only give like a 7-ish. Like season 2, maybe I'd give like just under an 8, so I guess it's still a 7, but like just barely under.
Overall writing, like the dialogue writing was very good. The jokes were very good. The overall plot.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I need to rewatch it.
And entertaining.
They probably dropped lots of hints throughout it that would make more sense now that we've seen the whole thing. And I've only seen season 1 once, so I want to watch it again.
It's entertaining, but it's plot thin, and like I think
I
it
did
took
notice that.
it took
Yeah.
its own like build up across the seasons to get like season 3, which, you know, if the next seasons are all like season 3 and it's special, like I'm all for it. But yeah, Monkey Kid definitely took its own time to like get into form, but I'm glad it got into form a lot
Heck
faster.
yeah.
All right.
That is everything then. I guess
Yes.
we should start wrapping up, and I shall do the plugs. So,
Do it.
Plug,
if you want to
plug.
support, if you want to support us, you can go over to Patreon and pledge $1. You'll be able to join our Discord server where you can chat with other people about Monkey Kid or Ninjago, or just Lego things in general. You can also go over to the TTV message boards and have more Lego discussion over there. Or you can follow us on Twitter where we do all of our news updates about podcasts or videos that are coming up. And yeah, that's the plugs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
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 yeah. So I guess this is it.
This is
We will be back again very soon, and then we'll probably have to be on hiatus until whatever else comes out. But I hope you've
Unless
enjoyed.
we have any thoughts at any point, or
Oh
we have
yeah, or just
interesting-
like general discussion stuff.
Like if there's
but,
news or
we,
something.
the Ninjago Monkey Kid cage match round 2.
I mean, I would like to. I don't like comparing the two, but I think it's an interesting
Yeah.
thing to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Time to
Yeah.
start a riot.
Let's start a riot.
I hope everyone's enjoyed the seasons, and I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Envy.
I'm Leo.
I'm Sakota.
I'm the Gundam Lady.
And that has been MonkieCast. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you all again very soon. Have a good night.